Today we discuss a yogurt shop that was once located in the capital city of Texas, Austin, Texas, where 4 girls' lives were taken gruesomely and cruelly, leaving many Austin residents with so many unanswered questions and so many unanswered clues, to countless number of suspects, to trials and retrials, to 2 men being convicted, then later released of all charges, to then having the murder still be left unknown till this day. Today we'll look at the diary entry of the yogurt shop murders. Let's begin.
Decides upon young, attractive women being his victim.
I guess human or non-human biologics.
Non-human.
I call on you to quit exciting your children when all they're doing is going to quiet rest.
And Sheridan goes in search of the real Bigfoot story.
Possession, control, violence.
What is that noise?
I'm going to tell you in detail why you have been kidnapped, what's going to happen to you.
You could either be in an animal form, or maybe a human form, or half human or half animal.
That man is believed to have been America's first serial killer.
Your only chance to evacuate is to leave with us.
These are people who are seen as a threat. They're going to go on walking around after they've died. They're going to come out of their graves.
Tell me in a sentence who you are. Nobody. I'm nobody.
Hi everyone, I'm Addison, and this is Addison's Dark Diaries, where we take a deep dive into criminal cases, true crime, the paranormal, and mysteries that are still unknown. Today, we are taking a deep dive into the yogurt shop murders. This case has been a case that has been on my mind since I wanted to start this channel many years ago, and I decided, I was like, today's the day. I'm going to go through cases that are still unknown to this day. I am fascinated by the unknown and things that have not been resolved, and justice being served, and these victims and people getting answers. I'm also very interested in the paranormal. I'm invested in many mystical creatures and folk tales and legends, so you'll be coming along with me as I travel to many different places and follow these stories and learn things for myself. So I hope you sit back and you enjoy. So today, let's start with the diary entry of the yogurt shop murders. This case begins on December 6, 1991, when a police officer was patrolling his normal route when he caught the yogurt shop, I Can't Believe It's Yogurt, up in flames in Austin, Texas. As he witnessed the shop engulfed in flames, he called up backup and called up the fire department. When the firefighters got there, they thought they were doing a routine after-hours put out of the fire. Who knows, maybe electrical issue, maybe someone lit a cigarette and it caught smoke on the outside. They just thought it'd be a typical routine fire that they were going to put out. But they did not know that it would end up being one of the most gruesome cover-ups that Austin had ever seen. They uncovered that it'd be a quadruple murder of 4 teenage girls.
At 11:47, one of our patrol officers called in to dispatch smoke coming out from I Can't Believe It's Yogurt. Fire department got here shortly thereafter. What we found in the back there was we found 4 victims. We're handling it as a homicide right now because it appears that one of the victims was struck in the head.
The authorities were left with the tragic mystery due to most of the evidence being burned and washed away, leaving the bodies of Sarah Harbison, 15, Jennifer Harbison, 17, Eliza Thomas, 17, and Amy Ayers, 15. As they uncovered as much as they could, they discovered that the 4 girls were stacked on top of each other in the shop's back room. It was then later reported that the girls were stripped, bonded, and killed, execution style. Some of the reports did show signs of sexually assaulted on some of the girls. John Jones was the original detective assigned to this case. He discussed the disturbing scene he bared witness to by saying, I can still see the inside of that place. That stuff burned into my mind. Jennifer and Eliza worked at the yogurt shop. Jennifer Harbison was 17 and Eliza Thomas was 17 at the time. And the younger girls, Sarah and Amy, during that day went to the yogurt shop waiting for the girls to close up so they could all have a big sleepover. From further investigation, the store seemed to have been robbed, with the front door locked from the inside. The back door was unlocked, indicating that the culprits probably entered and left the crime scene from the back entrance. This left confusing and puzzling story the yogurt shop owners offered $25,000 for information, leading to a conviction. After 2 years into the investigation, Austin Police Department had reportedly looked into over 5,000 leads and came up with 342 possible suspects. But with no evidence and only suspicion, there was made no arrest for 8 years. So out of the 342 suspects, there are 4 teenage boys that were higher-end suspects on the detectives' list. But due to the lack of evidence, they were not arrested for the murders at that time. In 1999, the case had been given to a new set of investigators who arrested and charged the 4 teenage boys, who were now adults, for the murder of the 4 teenage girls. Their names were Maurice Pierce, Forrest Wilborn, Michael Scott, and Robert Springsteen. These new investigators felt that there was sufficient evidence to continue interrogating and later charge the 4 men for the murders of the 4 girls. Around the same time of the murders, Maurice Pierce had been arrested for obtaining a .22 caliber on him while he was at the mall. He was only 16 at the time. Police questioned Pierce where the gun was at on December 6th. Pierce claimed that Forrest Wilborn, his 15-year-old friend, had borrowed the gun for that day. Soon, Michael Scott and Robert Springsteen, who would have been 17 and 16 at the time, then got involved. The teenage boys had both been with Pierce and Wilborn on December 6th in the relative proximity of where the yogurt shop was located. During the 1999 questioning, Pierce and Wilborn did not admit any guilt during the investigation, and Scott and Springsteen initially denied all involvement. But as time went on and the interrogation continued, the stories had changed. An important fact was Scott was interrogated for 20 hours over the course of 5 days. Starting at the beginning, he had no involvement, and then soon the story changed. So after hours and days of interrogation, Scott's story changed from not knowing anything about it to confession of assaulting 1 girl and shooting 2, as well as Springsteen's story, claiming that he wasn't 100 yards near the yogurt shop, to confessing to shooting 1 of the victims, while also claiming that the 3 friends were in fact involved. With all the interrogations and the confessions from Scott and Springsteen, all 4 men were charged for the murders of the 4 young girls. Pierce and Wilborn, who denied involvement entirely, were not indicted and were let free. But Scott and Springsteen, however, moved on to defend themselves in the court of law. After the initial interrogation and arrest in 1999, they were found guilty, with Springsteen getting put on death row and Scott life in prison in 2001. With that, there was no other evidence, just their confessions. That was why they got convicted. But later, through ballistic testing, the gun Pierce was possessing during the arrest at the mall was found to be highly unlikely to be the murder weapon. At this point, it seemed that the case was closed until 2006, 5 years later. In 2006, Springsteen's conviction was overturned. Then 1 year later, in 2007, Scott's conviction was overturned. Both men were then receiving new trials due to the determination that their Sixth Amendment rights were not protected. Their lawyers used the argument that the confession tapes were used by the prosecution without the opportunity for either men to confront witnesses against them as the amendment entails. Both Scott and Springsteen's lawyer alleged that the clients were coerced into giving false confessions during the interrogation process. Although some of the confessions were concerning, such as the detail of what type of gun was used, as well as the positions of the bodies, they said they were coerced and that they were forced to make those claims. Springsteen later recanted his confession, saying he had been berated during the interrogation, and finally snapped and broke down under the pressure and confessed. So with new retrials now being up to date, there had been a development from the time of the murders at the yogurt shop to 2007. This was a partial DNA sample that was pulled from the youngest victim, Amy Ayers. The partial sample can tell where a person shared male lineage with whoever supplied the sample through a process called YSTR testing. And the testing came back negative from both Scott and Springsteen. So, in 2009, Scott and Springsteen were set to be tried again. The prosecution delayed the trials as much as possible, but the DNA testing showed there was no match to either Scott or Springsteen.
Ready for trial. As the court is well aware, the state is conducting testing to identify the male donor that we uncovered through some YCR testing.
Ultimately, the charges against them were then dropped. Being probably a sigh of relief for both Scott and Springsteen, they were let free. But then another heartbreak happened for the victims' families, wanting justice. All they wanted was justice for their girls. So with that, the trial has remained open, yet cold. There has been no further evidence until there was a new lead in 2017, due to the partial DNA testing that were able to make a connection to the possible suspect at the yogurt shop. But it's being held by the FBI. Reasoning they will not release it, they state it is an unconstitutional breach of privacy for the involved individual whose DNA was provided randomly and not as a potential suspect. So to this day, we still do not know what happened to Sarah, Jennifer, Eliza, and Amy. So, as of now, that's where the story has left off, unsolved. And the case remains open. But as there's still room left on this page, let's go explore firsthand, shall we? Hi guys, so I am in Austin, Texas, going to try to find that I can't believe it yogurt shop that got burnt down on December 6, 1991. I have the location currently that I have scoured the internet to find on 2900 block of West Anderson Lane. So I'm currently over in this area, but let me go back down. There we go. So as you can see, I am at the strip mall. It was an outdoor strip mall, which was a lot better because for some reason when I was thinking mall, I was thinking inside mall, but no, it's a strip mall. And I don't exactly know if this is the exact area. I think I'm gonna drive around a little bit more. Okay guys, so I am at the complete wrong area. I think I found it. I think this is it. It looks more like what the pictures looked like that it would be at. I still don't see the nail salon that they had up. I think it was called Serenity Nails. So there's a Style Encore right here. And that I'm pretty sure I saw online that's one of the places. I don't know. I'm wondering if I should just park and walk around and see if this is the place. I'm looking also for the memorial because I think they have the memorial like out in the front. It is now called Glow Nails. Even online, it might have a different name. It is $29.47, $29.49. But it is now a nail salon. You see the memorial of the 4 girls. That used to be something else. If you look at the picture, I'll put the picture up. And then this is where it was at one point. I am going to drive around the back and see if there's like anything else around. But yeah, it's so crazy and sad, and it's just like happened. Like if you look at everything around, it's just like anything can happen in a flash, you know, a regular day, and then someone's whole life is switched upside down, and lives are taken from us, and they still don't know. And that's the whole point. Is people tell you that when someone dies, they die twice, because eventually people will stop talking about them and forget where they came from or anything about them. So we can't let these young girls' lives not be talked about, especially when they have not received justice. But I'm gonna go to the back because they said there's a back entrance where at one point that, I can't believe it's yogurt shop, the entrance where they believe that the culprits came in and came out without a trace. So let's head to the back. So guys, I'm driving around. This is what the area looks like when you drive from around here. If you're wanting to come over, next to it is the Lewis Sharks. I don't know what that is. Looks kind of like a hotel maybe? I don't know. But over here, so we're heading to the back. Here's another crazy part, is that there's just woods to this area. Now, who would have known what this would have been like? But if this is what it was like, they honestly could have cut off into there without being seen. The closest road is back there. Once again, we'll have to look at the systems, pull up what the map looked like and what the area looked like in 1981 to see, but there's a busy road on that end and there's a busy road on that end. I don't exactly know which door. We said 19, I think it was 49. Let's see, let's roll down the window. It had to be one of, I don't know if it was this one. I don't think it was this far, guys, but this is no trespassing. I think it was back there. I think it was that last one that we saw. But that is the area to the back. This is all what it is now. But this was a shopping center, so this all would have still been here, just with different store names at that time. I'm going to do some more research, and I'll put right here if I figure out how long the fire was actually going before the police officers found it. So I'm currently walking to the back entrance of where the back entrance was of, I can't believe it's yogurt shop. It is now called Glonell's, but this is, so, oh, here's the street. So here's what the street would have been like. But I'm gonna walk this way a little more to show y'all this. It's just an empty and there's tunnels, which is creepy in itself. I'm gonna try to get down there, guys. I'm in little loafer, but this is the backwoods of the place. So yeah, they could have just went right there, cut over into the woods, made it out. There's apartments back there, I think, but you know, once you get cut out and just weave through here, or they could have went under in those underneath and then just walked that way. It's mind-blowing that this could have been the place that the murderers went, and no one will ever know, you know, until the case gets back open and it starts doing their investigations. There are now cameras. I don't know if there's cameras back then, because they probably could have seen where the culprits went. But now it just looks like a little, like, kind of a creek. It's kind of creepy because I am going to the Weeping Woman Creek, basically. So there's just like water standing, and it's like kind of looks like that, and I'm like, well, a little creepy on that end. But we're getting closer to a door, which I believe is going to be right here. So I think it's this one, and there's a camera right there, or this one. I think it's that one, but it can be one of these. There are handprints there, that's creepy, but, you know. But, I don't know, I always wonder, I like to experience kind of at night, just for the also reason it gets a little creepier, and the sun is starting to set. It's gives it more of like a little bit of eerie vibes. And this right here is just like, I don't know if anyone's seen this, that this is what it goes into. So of course the culprit could have ran away. And like, they're lucky the fire didn't spread. Like over here, this is all wood, which might be wet, but it's crazy. Yeah, it's like a surreal feeling. So if you're like ever in the Austin area, come out, visit, pay your respects to the 4 young ladies that lost their lives here. Tell your story, share it, make people know because they need that closure. But yeah, this is the unsolved yogurt shop murders. The case is still open. There's been no further leads since 2017. The FBI knows something. Once again, there's something they know might not help. But if you know anything, let it be known. Help these families get closure. Thank you for coming and watching and subscribing to the new channel. Like I said, I am going to be doing these constantly, once a week, going to different places when I can, just sharing stories when places I can't get out to. But I think it's good to put like a face to modern day 2023 of cases that are years ago or even kind of recent, so y'all can feel it and y'all know that these are real places, these are real people that have lives that tragically gotten taken away or whatever happened, paranormal or anything. Just these are stories, and these stories and these are people's lives that need to be told, and it just helps spread awareness, and it helps, you know, make you feel like be a part of humanity and be a part of something bigger. So like again, thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing. I'm Addison Start Diaries. This finishes the Yogurt Murders diary entry.